Tuesday, where heartbreak meets humor, and we're finally going to be able to give you guys a chance to speak your side of the story without your friends fake yawning. Have you ever talked to somebody and they're just not interested, or they're giving you the eye roll and you're not getting that feedback, or somebody totally listening to what you have to say? Well, that's what Toxic Tuesday is for. We are here. We want to hear all the tea and give you all the attention and be the friend that you guys need. All right, ghosties, this is your moment. Drop your drama in the chat. Anonymous, bold, we don't care. We want to know. Tell us what happened, and we will tell you if they are toxic or not, or if you're overreacting. So we're going to give you guys a few minutes, a pause, to text the chat and give us some stories. We did have a submission earlier for our anonymous chat that we're going to set up for the next live. And the viewer said, he says he's not ready for a relationship, but he still wants to talk every day. What are our thoughts on that? My little ghosties, what's our thoughts? My opinion, that's not love. That's like emotional Uber Eats. He wants the emotional comfort without tipping. So what do we say, viewers? Probably detonate. Let him go. Right? He was not ready for a relationship, but he wants to talk every day. I guess it really depends on how long you guys have been dating. Yes, Kylie says he doesn't like you, it's just lust. That is such a great point that Kylie brought up, because we actually just launched a new video Sunday night from one of our amazing animators, and the video did very well actually. So if you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. I think it's the crazy science behind love and lust. I think that's what it is. It was great. It was a really great video. We got a lot of great views. So if you're concerned whether it's love or lust, definitely check that out. But for our viewer that sent in that anonymous admission, we would definitely say detonate. If he's not ready for a relationship but he wants to talk every day, keep your options open, baby. You know, you're open to talk to anyone else, especially if he's not ready to commit and you are. Definitely emotionally Uber eating you for sure, babe. Okay, our second admission that we got, she submitted in, she says, sorry, I'm trying to read this. He says I check all of his relationship boxes, but he still wants to explore. How should I act? That's a great submission. Thank you, guys. Love that. What do we think, chat? What do we think? What would we say for Kylie? Personally, if he says you check all the boxes, but he's not ready to commit, then what I would say is definitely keep your options open and move along. Kylie says, yes, Kylie says, I think I want to go explore too. Absolutely. Why are you going to be held back if he's not ready to commit? This is some really good tea, you guys. Thank you, Kylie. I would definitely... Anyway, Kylie, how are you doing? You were here the last live giving us some tea, some really, really crazy tea that we know a bunch of people watched after the live. So what tea do you have for our viewers that will be checking in this time? Oh, she says she misses Sarah. Sarah, if you're watching live or if you're going to watch us later, hey Sarah, we missed you. Hope everything's going well. We know you had some tea for your boyfriend too. Now we want to see our next submission, unless Kylie has an update for us. I guess we can wait in the chat for that. Our second admission from our viewer, she says she's busy, but she keeps posting TikToks with other guys. Woo! Live drama drop for you. What do we think, people? Let me repeat that again. She says she's busy. She tells me she's busy, but she still posts TikToks with other guys. I mean, let's think about this technically. Is she working? She could be posting TikToks for work, so she could be working, actually. I think we need a little more detail. Viewer number 3 who sent that in. I need a little more detail. Is she working and she's posting TikToks with other guys? Is she flirting in them? Is she getting paid? I don't know. Unless she's just really not that interested in you and she's busy rotating men like seasonal flavors. That was a funny joke. You're not her boyfriend, you're just her pumpkin spice latte, and it's not even Thanksgiving yet. So I don't know. I think I would need some more information about that. If she was working or not. Because sometimes people do TikToks for work. So let's come back to that. I need more information on that. All right, does anybody else have any other tea in the chat? We are going to check, we're going to check. So excited to have you guys here. We did get a cute little ghostie. Isn't she so cute? I'm going to show you her little stuff that she got for you. She's adorable, isn't she? Let's see if we can get some hearts on the screen. We did get a comment. She said she posts TikToks with guys dancing and matching outfits. Okay, well that may be for work actually. That sounds like work to me. Let's see if we got some little hearts coming up. Anyway, oh, isn't that so cute? We're gonna come back to that. We're not sure, we need more information. Let's check the chat. What TikToks? Kylie says what TikToks? Could be for work, possibly, not sure. All right, we're gonna go to our next submission. We had an anonymous viewer send us a submission that says, confession, I told my situationship I was sick just to see if he cared, okay? And he left me on red. Yikes. What do we think about that, people? Let's check the chat. What do we think about that? I'm gonna read that again. She sent us an anonymous confession saying, I told my situationship I was just sick to see if he cared, and he left me on red. Definitely doesn't care, that's what I would say. Definitely detonate. He did not care if you were sick. He didn't even follow up to ask you if you were okay. You know, yikes. First of all, relatable. Definitely happened to us before. Second of all, he failed the test. He didn't even fake concern. What do we say, people? Detonate. Drop a dead emoji skull if you've ever tested someone and immediately regretted how right you were. That's personal, people. Do we have any... Kylie says detonate. I agree. Do we have anyone in the chat that's going to send a dead emoji? I'd like to see that if anyone else has, if that's happened to you guys before. Moving on, we're going to have a little bomb. We're going to say detonate that. We are going to detonate that. Okay, let's do the next question. Questions about trust and boundaries. My partner keeps in touch with his ex. Should I be worried? That's a great question. But I feel like that's a really packed question. Because what if they have kids? You know? What if he's really close with, you know, his family and they really like the ex? That's always awkward. What do we think in the chat, people? What do we think in the chat? Is it still acceptable if he still talks to his ex? I think that's a loaded question. I think we need a little bit more details than that. Hey guys, we have 6 viewers. Welcome to Date or Detonate. It is Toxic Tuesday. We are going over some live tea. You can send it in the chat. We had a few anonymous submissions and we would love some feedback. What do we think? Is it still okay to keep in contact with your ex? What do you guys say? I think it just depends on the situation or the relationship and if they have kids. If they have kids, they obviously need to, you know, communicate and talk. What do you guys think in the chat? Please text in the chat and let us know. Anyways, moving on. Our next one says, I'm turning the tables. Time for accountability. We've been dating for a few months, and whenever I bring up anything emotional, he just changes the subject. Is that a red flag, or is it his personality? That's a good one, my friends. What do we think? What do we think? In the chat, please let us know. What do we think? We're going to read that one more time for the people who missed it. We've been dating for a few months, and whenever I bring up anything emotional, he just changes the subject. Is that a red flag, or just his personality? I don't know, babe. It could be his personality. Is he awkward? What do we think in the chat, people? If you bring up your emotions, you've been dating for a few months, I think you guys should... I think in a relationship, communication is really important. So I would definitely say to make sure that the communication is there. So you should be able to communicate things like that. Red flag. Kylie says red flag, he doesn't care. I think I might agree. Especially if you've been dating for a few months and you can't bring up your feelings. Let's move on to the next one. He says he wasn't looking for anything serious, but he acts like my boyfriend. What does that mean, my friends? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? That's a loaded question. What do we think, Kylie? Love bombing her. I think I would definitely agree with that. Definitely love bombing her. Let's send some love bombs in screen. Let's do it. All right. Next question. We had another anonymous submission. It says, things were going great, and then he suddenly stopped responding. Huh. Should I follow up or just let it go? That's a great question. What do we think, people? I don't know. I guess it really depends on how long they've been dating. If you're just now joining, welcome to Date or Detonate. It is Toxic Tuesday. You can send your submission in the chat. We are discussing the tea for Tuesday. Kylie says, let it go so he can chase you. I agree. There's a lot of science behind this that guys love to be the hero. They love to chase the woman. If you're all over him and you're constantly chasing him, he's not going to be interested, you know? I think we all been through that. So I would definitely, what do we say? Detonate. Definitely detonate. Let's get some bombs on the screen here for that while we wait for our next submission. Thank you guys so much for joining. We're a small little channel. We love having the support. We're so happy to be here for you guys. Sorry we had some audio issues in the beginning, but we are working it out and we're getting better every time. Yeah, definitely detonate. If he's not gonna check on you, goodbye. Okay, next anonymous submission we had. We've only been dating for 2 weeks, but he already says he loves me and he's talking about moving in. Is that sweet or scary? Babe, I'm gonna tell you right now, that is scary, okay? That's love bombing 101. We did a whole video about this on our channel. Please check it out. Nobody should be talking about moving in with you in 2 weeks. Girl, detonate. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Detonate, detonate, detonate. Absolutely not. What does the chat say? Scary, absolutely. Kylie says scary. I would definitely agree. That is scary, people. We have 7 viewers. Please type in the chat. Somebody says they've been dating for 2 weeks. Please detonate. We are not moving in with you. Goodbye. Okay, we had another anonymous submission. Let's go. He's polite to me but rude to waiters and always trash talks his ex. Should I take that as a warning sign? Why is that even a question, babe? Are you serious? Are you serious? In the chat, please tell me. Is that a real question? Did you guys really submit that to me? You guys really submitted that to me? Absolutely is a red flag. Heck no. Okay, next one. He gets upset when I hang out with friends without him or wear certain outfits. He says it's because he cares. Is that protective or possessive? Well, in my opinion, I think a woman should be able to wear whatever she wants. She should not have a man or anyone tell her to cover up. So, no, I think that's a red flag. Kylie says controlling AF. Absolutely, people. We do not stand for that. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Heck no. Thank you guys for joining us. This is Date or Detonate. We're talking all the toxic tea. If you have any tea in the chat you want us to discuss, want some opinion, or you want to vent, please type in the chat. We'd love to hear it. Okay, we had another anonymous submission. It says, the first time I said no to him, he got cold and distant. Is that normal or manipulative? I definitely think that's manipulation. You should be able to say no. No means no means no means no. A guy can say no. A girl can say no. No means no. Absolutely. Heck no. What do we think in the chat? No means no. Yep, Kylie said controlling AF. Okay, we had another anonymous submission. It says, he constantly cancels plans last minute but gets annoyed if I'm unavailable. Should I confront him or walk away? I don't know, people. What do we think? Kylie, what do you think? Sarah, are you here? What do you think? Do you think you should walk away or confront him? I think people should be able to talk about their feelings. So I definitely think that you should confront his ass, for sure. I definitely think you should confront him, for sure. Okay, next anonymous submission we have. He says all his exes were crazy and toxic, but he's had 5 serious relationships. Should I be suspicious? I feel like if you have somebody that always says, oh my god, my exes were so crazy, I definitely think that's sus AF. I don't know, what do we think, chat? If all your exes were crazy, is that sus? Is that sus or is that just a really big coinkydink? I don't know. What do we think, people? Controlling. Yeah, Kylie says sus. I would definitely agree. Kylie says sus. For sure. Alright, we're going to move on to our next submission. It's Toxic Tuesday. We got tea for you guys. If you got tea for us, please vent. We want to hear it all. Let's go. Okay, our next anonymous submission says, I've caught her lying about weird little things like what she ate or where she went. Bro, that's weird. Is that a sign of bigger dishonesty? Absolutely. If they can lie about the tiny little things, maybe they have a lying issue, you know? Or maybe you're scary and they're afraid to talk to you. That could be true too. All right, next question. Unless you guys got a question in the chat you want us to answer, please type in the chat. Anyways.
We answer both guys.
Yeah, we answer to guys too. Yes, we are not sexist here. Anyways, let's go. He accidentally ignored my text for hours to see how I'd react. Is that immaturity or something worse? I mean, I don't want to immediately go red flag, but he could be cheating, babe, if he's ignoring you like that. I mean, who knows? That's not... Please, people, if you're going to send me anonymous questions, can you give me a little bit backstory? Can I know a little bit more so I can answer properly? Anyways, welcome to Date or Detonate. We're still here. Toxic Tuesday. Let's go. If you got tea, text the chat. Otherwise, we're going to be reading our anonymous submissions. Okay. Our next submission says, we've been dating for 2 months, but he still hasn't told anyone about me. He says he's private. Should I be concerned? That's a good question. I feel like these days, people really want to hate on your relationship. So maybe he wants to keep it private. You know, 2 months isn't really that long. Maybe he's kind of testing it out. Or maybe he has a wife at home. I don't want to go completely AWOL. I mean, I don't know. I think you need to wait a little bit more than 2 months to find out if he wants to, you know, tell people about your relationship. Protecting something like that's important. Okay, next submission we have, it says, refusing to compromise. Yikes. Anytime we disagree, she insists she's right and won't budge. Even all the small stuff. Is that a red flag for controlling behavior? Yes, that is a red flag, babe. Let's get the red flag. Let's get some bombs up. If they don't want to compromise and they don't want to, you know, meet you in the middle, absolutely, heck no. That's a red flag, babe. He's sweet 1 minute and furious the next over small things. Is that just stress or a warning sign? I don't know. That's a good question, babe. It could be stress. A lot of us have to work a lot. Sometimes maybe, you know, he's mentally had it. It's not an excuse and not okay, but, you know, maybe he's just stressed out. Okay, next submission. Let's see our next anonymous submission. Do you guys have anything in the chat for me? It's Toxic Tuesday. We want to hear all the tea. Right now we have a bunch of anonymous submissions we're reading that we got earlier. Whenever I go out with my friends or spend time away, she says I'm choosing them over her. Is that emotional manipulation? Possibly. Are you giving her enough attention? Are you asking her if she wants to hang out and then telling her no, hang out with your friends? Are you constantly ditching her? I don't know. I don't know if that's emotional manipulation. She might be ditching you, so I don't know. We are going over Toxic Tuesday. We want to hear all the tea. Please let us know if you have any tea. We're just reading some anonymous submissions. Our next one says, he constantly makes fun of my appearance or insecurities and then says, I'm just joking, lighten up. Am I overreacting? No. Nobody wants to be made fun of constantly. That's terrible. Yikes. Let's get some bombs on the screen. We're going to bomb that crap. Heck no, heck no. A joke here or there, sure. But constantly and making fun of your insecurities, no. I would not agree. If you guys have any tea in the chat, we want to hear it. Let's go. Anyways, we're going to move on to our next anonymous submission. It says, I heard him say something hurtful during an argument, but later he insisted that he never said it. Am I imagining things or being gaslit? I don't know. Are you imagining things or being gaslit? Definitely being gaslit. Because if you heard him say it, then he's definitely gaslighting you. He needs to apologize for the hurtful thing he said. Exactly. Kylie said gaslit. What do we think in the chat? People, let us know. Is she being gaslit? Yes. Let's bomb that. Bomb, 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 bomb. All right, next anonymous submission. If you're just now joining us, we are live for Toxic Tuesday, and we're going over all the tea. So if you have any tea you want to vent, it's Tuesday. We're not even halfway through the weekend. We want to hear all the tea. In the meantime, we're going to be reading our anonymous submission, and we are giving advice. So if you can please text the chat, we're going to go over the next submission. It says, every time I try to talk about things serious, he disappears for a few hours. And then he says, I'm being too much. Is that a sign of emotional maturity? Yes, I would say so. I think it's important to have space in a relationship, so definitely agree. What does Kylie say? What do you guys say in the chat? Bye, detonate. We are going to detonate, 100%. Okay, next it says our next anonymous submission that we're going to be going over. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate all the love and support. We're a new little channel, and we want to be your little venting safe space. Okay, our next submission says, when I set a simple boundary, like needing time alone, or needing time alone, she gets upset and says I'm pushing her away. Is that a lack of emotional development? Possibly. I feel like if you're having a boundary, I feel like it's important to put those up, and I think that people need to respect that. But I also think that a lot of people aren't used to respecting boundaries, which is also an issue. So I definitely think that it takes both people to work on it, and if they don't respect the boundary, vice versa, then definitely detonate, let that go. It is Toxic Tuesday. We're going over all the tea. If you're just now joining us, we want to be your vent safe space. Please text the chat if you have anything that you'd like to discuss. Otherwise, we're going to go over our next anonymous submission. Kylie says, yes, he's toxic. He is. He's toxic. Let's go to the next submission. It says, when he hurts my feelings, he just says, that's how I am, and expects me to deal with it. Is that an excuse for poor behavior? Absolutely, my friends. What do we say in the chat? What do you think? Is that an excuse for poor behavior? Absolutely. Absolutely is an excuse for poor behavior. If he can't change or put effort in, then he really doesn't care about you. On to the next. On to the next. If you're still here in the chat and you can hear us, please text the chat and let us know. We're going to move on to the next anonymous submission. Thank you guys so much for joining. We are Date or Detonate. And it is Toxic Tuesday. And we're having so much fun with you guys. Okay, our next anonymous submission that we just received says, he says he's in love with me, but he always has an excuse for why we can't meet up in person. Is this emotional immaturity or something shady? Shady, hello, how's he in love with you, but he can't meet you in person? What the heck? Is that even a real question? Are you guys sending me real questions? What is that? Boy, bye. No, no, and no. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Heck no, heck no, heck no. Anyways, it's Toxic Tuesday, my friends. Kylie says he's catfishing you. If he loves you, he would want to meet you in person. He would want to hug you and kiss you and be all over you. Or she. We're not sexist here. It could be a girl too. Okay, next anonymous question. It says, he says daily texting is proof of commitment, but avoids deeper conversations about the future. Is that inconsistency a red flag? Wait, let me read that question again. That really threw me off. Would you guys submit to me? Okay, let's try this again, chat. I need to understand this. He says daily texting is proof of commitment, but avoids deeper conversations about the future. Is that inconsistency a red flag? Yes. Yes, you should be able to talk about the future. Not necessarily getting married, but future goals in a relationship is important. Where do you see yourself in 6 months? Where do you see yourself in a year? You know, maybe you actually are in a situationship and you just don't know it. That sucks. I think you need to figure that out. If you guys are going to submit to me anonymous questions, please give me some back details so we can give better advice. That was deep. Okay. Welcome you guys to Date or Detonate. We are going on Toxic Tuesday, talking about all the tea. If you have any in the chat, please text in the chat and let us know. Otherwise, we're going to be reading off these anonymous submissions that we received earlier. All right, it says, if we argue, she ignores my messages for days. But she says it's because she needs space and I can't handle distance. Is that healthy? Is that even a real question? Absolutely not. That's not healthy. If she doesn't want to talk to you for days and you want to talk to her for days, then that just doesn't work for you guys. Definitely detonate. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Detonate that relationship. Yes, sir. You guys need to be able to meet each other's needs if you're in a relationship or come really close. So I would definitely detonate that. Do not agree. Okay, next submission. Do we have our next submission that we just signed in? Please, thank you guys for joining Toxic Tuesday. We're going over all the tea. If you guys are here in the chat, please let us know. Send us some hearts or likes. We'd love to know if you can hear us. Otherwise, we will be going over the toxic tea. So, our next submission is going to be... It's loading, sorry. Technical difficulties. Anyways, how are you guys? We're waiting for our next submission. Let's see if we got some little hearts on the screen for our friends. So cute. We had this made and we love it so much. Next Tuesday, we will we'll post on our YouTube channel the submission for anonymous submission, so you guys can put that in. So you have the rest of the week to put that in, so we can go over it on Tuesday. Anyways, we're ready for the next one. If you're stalking your ex's Instagram, or you accidentally FaceTime them at 3 a.m. to see they'd answer, worse, you made a burner phone to DM their new boo, what are we gonna say? Is that a green flag or a red flag, my friends? That, in my opinion, is red flag AF. Let's bomb. Absolutely not. Definitely not. Let your ex go. They're an ex for a reason. Stop revisiting that. It's not gonna go anywhere or get any better. Anyways, it's Toxic Tuesday. We're still going over the toxic tea. If you guys got any tea for us in the chat, please let us know. Anyways, we have our next submission. Okay, it is, I feel completely alone in my marriage. Like my emotional needs don't matter anymore. Is that something couples can fix, or is that a sign of detachment? That's a great question. I definitely think that's something you guys can fix. I think in marriages, you know, especially if you guys been married for a really long time, sometimes kids or work or other parties come before the marriage, and not giving excuses, but sometimes, you know, things get missed. So I definitely think if you guys can connect on a better level, I think that's really important. We are an affiliate for Marriage on the Mend, I believe is the counseling course. You can click it in our YouTube about us, and we definitely recommend that course. It's amazing. I would definitely check that out if you're having communication issues with your spouse. Absolutely. In the meantime, we just got our next submission. It says, I found messages between my spouse and somebody else that crossed the line. Ooh. But they say it was just texting. Am I wrong for feeling betrayed? Absolutely. Absolutely, you are not wrong for feeling betrayed. I would feel betrayed too. That's terrible. I'm sorry that you're going through that. I would definitely confront both of them because that's not okay. Find out if the other one is married, because slap for both of them. And we're going to put Detonate on the screen. Detonate for that. Thank you guys for all the submissions. We love that. It's Toxic Tuesday, and we're going over all the tea. So if you guys got any cool tea for us, please text the chat. But otherwise, we're going to go through our next submission. It says, I walk on eggshells to avoid setting them off. Ooh. They say I'm too dramatic, but I'm constantly anxious. How do I know if this is emotional manipulation? If you're constantly walking on eggshells, that's not healthy for you. That's not healthy for anybody, and that's definitely manipulation. You should not be with somebody that you're constantly walking on eggshells. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Definitely detonate that. Okay, next, it says they've cheated in the past, but promised to change. But now they're being secretive again. How do I know if it's time to leave or try again? I think that you would need some concrete information to confirm that they are cheating before leaving. So definitely be for sure. If they cheated in the past but they're being secretive, more than likely they're cheating for sure. Definitely probably go through the phone and find out so that way you have peace of mind to know you made the right decision and you don't have regrets. Thank you guys for joining. It's Toxic Tuesday. If you have any tea, please type in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to go move on to our next submission. It says, I've begged for more emotional connection, but they say they just aren't that type of person. Should I accept that or expect more in a marriage? Well, people are different. I feel like in a marriage, you should definitely be able to have an emotional connection. So I feel like your spouse needs to meet you in the middle and put some effort in for sure. We just got our next submission. If you guys have any comments, please text the chat. My boyfriend jokes about leaving or breaking up with me during arguments. They say they don't mean it. Should I be worried? Yes. Threatening to end a relationship because you're throwing a man tantrum is not okay. So let's throw some bombs on the screen because we're going to detonate that. Absolutely no. Heck no. Come on, people. What kind of question is that? Should I be threatening your relationship? Not cool. Not cool, not cool, not cool. Okay, we got our next submission. It says, they compare me to others, exes, friends, even strangers, and say I should be more like them. Is that emotional cruelty? Yes. You are who you are. You should not be compared to exes, friends, or strangers trying to change for somebody else. Definitely not cool. Not cool at all. What are we going to do, people? Detonate. Detonate. It's Toxic Tuesday. Thank you for joining, my friends. For anyone watching this later, we did have some audio issues in the beginning, but we are figuring it out, and we are happy that you are here. Our next anonymous submission says, they don't celebrate my wins, support my goals, or show interest in what I care about anymore. Is this emotional abandonment? Absolutely. Absolutely emotional abandonment. We're so sorry you're going through this. That's definitely emotional abandonment. Definitely have a conversation with your partner to let them know. Our next anonymous submission says they want access to all of my accounts. Say I don't need privacy in marriage and get upset if I push back. Is this healthy transparency or control? That's a really good question. Personally, I feel like in a marriage, you should be able to use your partner's phone and you should know their password for emergencies, obviously, or access to bank accounts, of course, but going through it constantly, that's definitely unhealthy, and I don't think that's healthy transparency. So should they have access? Probably, especially if you're married, yes, but they shouldn't be going through it. That's my opinion, you know? Next submission, it says, they make me feel like I can't make decisions without them, even the small ones. It's just their personality or controlling behavior. Definitely controlling behavior. You are your own person and you should be able to make decisions without them. So definitely, let's get some bombs on the screen. Detonate. Definitely detonate. What's up, people? It's Toxic Tuesday. Kelly says detonate block. Absolutely. Okay, our next anonymous submission says, they always joke about how lucky I am to be with them, or imply no one else would want to be with me. It's subtle, but it really stings. Is that a red flag? Yes, hello. People, my friends, this is why we made this channel. We want to make sure we are here, a safe space for you guys to vent, give you the confidence you need to leave these terrible relationships. Like, heck no. If somebody's saying that you're not good enough, definitely not. You want to be with somebody that loves you, cherishes you. Nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. But if they're constantly throwing something like that in your face, absolutely, what do we say, people? Detonate. Absolutely detonate. Okay, let's go over our next anonymous submission. It's Toxic Tuesday. Says, I've stopped talking to certain friends because it's caused arguments. Now I feel completely alone. Is that normal in a marriage? Is it normal? Probably. Everyone has marriage issues, but I definitely think that if you had to stop talking to certain friends because it caused arguments, I definitely think that's unhealthy. In a marriage, you should be able to have friendships outside of the marriage, and it's important that you have your own personal me time. So if they're being controlling and telling you can't talk to certain friends, things like that, I definitely think that's an issue. Definitely an issue. So you guys need to talk to your partner and work on that. Our next anonymous submission says, they always say they're too tired or too busy to connect or talk or even check in on me. Is that a red flag or life stress? I don't know if that's necessarily a red flag. It also could be life stress. Sometimes people could be going through their own depression or own issues. I definitely think that it's emotional neglect, yes, but I don't know if it's necessarily a red flag. So I would definitely talk to your partner, let them know that you're feeling emotionally neglected, so that way they can try to understand that your needs are important too, because they may be going through a lot of stress. You know, a lot of us, went through a lot after COVID, so the world's not the same anymore. So I would definitely communicate with your partner. All right, our next submission, our anonymous submission, unless we have anything in the chat, we're going to read this anonymous submission. It says, they always accuse me of always complaining when I bring up how I feel. Am I being negative or my needs being dismissed? That's a really good question. What do we think, chat? Do we think that they're always complaining or being negative, or are their needs being dismissed? I do feel like in a relationship, your feelings should be able to be brought up, and you should be able to talk to somebody and have them be a safe space. Your partner should be a safe space for you to talk and communicate. So if they're constantly telling you that you're being negative, you either are being negative or they're just not the right partner for you. Thank you guys. This Toxic Tuesday, we're going over all the tea. The next anonymous submission we had, it says, I feel like I have to rehearse on how I bring things up or I manage their mood to avoid a fight. Is that normal or emotionally unsafe? I would definitely say that's emotionally unsafe. Detonate. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Heck no. You should not have to walk around eggshells or manage their mood to talk to them. I don't think that that's healthy at all. Healthy relationships are really important, and if you start having to change how you talk to them so they can process it, it's really going to, in the long term, affect you as well. So I don't think that that's going to work out in the long run. All right, it's Toxic Tuesday. We're going over anonymous submissions. We just got another one that says, they say they're interested but rarely initiate conversations. Should I bring it up or take the hint? You should definitely bring it up, my friends. How would they know? Maybe they don't know they need to initiate conversation. Maybe they're really shy and they want to wait for you. So I would definitely use this. Communication is so important in a relationship. Definitely bring it up so that way they know, like, hey, I'm kind of doing all the talking. Do you mind helping me out here? Like telling you about your day or something that's important to you. That way it's not all put on you, because the only one talking, if it's always you, that can be exhausting. So definitely bring that up to your partner. Okay, our next submission says, we text every day, but we haven't had a real FaceTime or phone call. Is that just modern dating or a red flag? Red flag. Okay, red flag, my friends. What do you think in the chat? Is that red flag? Let's get some bombs on the screen. Definitely, detonate that. It's Toxic Tuesday, my friends. We are going over anonymous submissions. If you guys have anything in the chat, please send us, let us know. We want to hear all the tea. We're here for it. In the meantime, it says they take hours, sometimes days to respond, but are always online. Should I confront them or fall back? Honestly, fall back. Hold on to your dignity. Don't even bother and move on. There's no point. If they're always online and they don't want to respond, they don't want to respond. They're not interested. If they were interested in you, they would put the effort in. So I would not waste your time. Hold on to your dignity and move on. It's Toxic Tuesday, you guys. If you have anything that you'd like to talk about in the chat, please let us know. Otherwise, we're just going to go over some anonymous submissions that we got earlier today. The next one says, they get jealous when I mentioned hanging with a guy friend, even though we're not exclusive. Am I overreacting or is that possessive? You may be a tad overreacting, but it's definitely a little bit possessive on their part if you guys are in a relationship. So you need to figure that out. You're either in a relationship or you're not, and he can get over it. Next. Okay, our next submission says, they avoid the what are we question and say, oh, they don't like pressure. This is great. We just did a video on this. Check our channel. But in the meantime, how do I know if I'm being patient or played? I think I would say played for sure. If you have to keep avoiding the question and they don't like pressure, being played for sure. Being played. Move on to somebody else who wants to give you their time and you know, give you what you need. Okay, next, anonymous admission says, how long should I stay in the talking stage before expecting clarity where this is going? I think it's important to give time for this. Relationships don't happen overnight. Some people get so angsty, they just want to be in a relationship and get married next week. Like, you guys definitely need to give it some time. Probably in like a month or two, for sure. They always say in a marriage, the best relationships are friendships. So you guys need to be best friends first before you have a relationship. I think that's really important. Because at the end of the day, love comes and goes. But if you guys have a solid friendship and solid communication, then you guys can work back to that. So I would definitely wait a few months for sure in the talking stage. You know, why are we trying to rush? What if you talk to them and then you realize you don't like them? You know, that's important, you know? Courting is important. Let's not rush things, my friends. Anyways, let's check the chat. Kylie says, block all of these guys. I agree. Let's bomb. Bomb. Put some bombs on the screen. Okay, our next anonymous submission, my friends. We've got like 20 minutes left in our live. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. If you're watching this now or you're watching this later, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. We're going to read our next anonymous submission. It says, 1 minute we're crazy in love, and the next we're screaming and breaking up. Is this passion or toxic roller coaster? It is a passionate toxic roller coaster. That's what that is. It is a passionate toxic roller coaster. You can't be that crazy without having some passion. But if you're that passionate, it can definitely be toxic. Sounds like you guys need to work some things out. Sorry about that. Next, you guys are here in the chat. Please say hello. Otherwise, we are going to move on to our next submission. It says, they check my phone. They question my every move. They accuse me of cheating with no proof. How do I set boundaries without a huge fight? It will be a huge fight, but you need to set boundaries. There's no reason somebody else should be checking your phone consistently. That's mental. You are your own person. You should be able to, you know, have your own phone, and you shouldn't have to hand up your phone and tell them your every move. That's too much. Our next submission says, they threaten self-harm when I try to end things. How do I keep myself safe but also show compassion? Okay, this is really deep. People who do this, that's crazy. I definitely think that I would talk to them and let them know it has nothing to do with anything else other than you have to do what's best for you. You don't want to stay in a relationship where there's definitely threatening to self-harm. I would definitely probably contact their family, parent, to let them know that, you know, they're threatening self-harm. You want to make sure that this person gets help, get some resources going for them. Hopefully they're just gaslighting you and they're just saying that and they don't actually mean that, because that would be terrible. But we don't wish that upon anybody. But that definitely sounds like an unsafe situation. And you need to get yourself out. You should not be in a relationship with somebody that's constantly threatened to harm themselves. That's not okay. Okay, our next anonymous submission says, my partner always points out my flaws and never seems satisfied. They say it's to help me grow, but it feels like constant criticism. Is that tough love or emotional abuse? Definitely emotional abuse, because if they're doing it, they're constantly pointing out your flaws and they're saying it as criticism, that's definitely a red flag. They should be able to tell you with constructive criticism, for sure. Thank you guys. It's Toxic Tuesday. We really appreciate you guys joining us. It says, our next anonymous submission says, they control all of the money and get angry if I want to spend it or save in my own way. They say it's for her own good, but I feel trapped. Is this normal or a red flag? Red flag, hello. Trying to keep all your money. What the heck? Heck no. Let's red bomb this. Thank you. What do we think, chat? Definitely block all of these guys. Not healthy red flags. Okay, our next anonymous submission says, oh, this is a good one. They shower me with affection and gifts right after an argument. Then things go back to how they were. How do I tell if this is love or manipulation? This is not love. Please, you guys, we did a video on this. It's on our YouTube channel. This is not love. This is manipulation. If they're showering you with gifts to half-ass apologize but don't want to change the behavior, That's manipulation. Point clear. If you love somebody, you're going to put the steps and effort into change. Otherwise, you're just gaslighting them, and you're love bombing them, and you're putting no real effort in. Thank you guys. It's Toxic Tuesday. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this back later, we're going to set up a link for our next live so that way you guys can see and submit your anonymous submissions so that we can go over them. If you guys have anything you want to talk about in the chat, please let us know. Please say hello. We are so thankful you guys are here. We have our cute little ghostie with our new little backdrop. It's adorable. Anyways, we're going to go over our next anonymous submission. It says, if you guys have any feedback for these people, because they're in the chat, please help me out here. It says, they say they love me, but scream at me daily. Then beg for forgiveness with promises that never last. How do I stop this emotional roller coaster? Communicate first, tell them how you're feeling, and if they're not making changes, you need to break up with them. People don't change, my friend. I'm sorry. That's toxic, that's not healthy, and it's going to be taking on a mental toll for you as well. So I think that we need to have high standards here, people, and detonate. So let's get some bombs on the screen. Okay, our next one, we just got another submission. It says, they convinced me to quit my job and cut off almost everyone I know. Now I feel trapped and alone. Is there a way out? Yes, there's a way out. Break up with them. If somebody actually loves you, they're going to understand that you need friendship. You need healthy outlets besides just them. That's not healthy. And if you quit your job, I'm sorry, that's terrible. Break up with them, see if you can get your job back, or take this as an opportunity to get a new one and have a new beginning. Break up with them, move out, fresh start, babe, like get out. Definitely not. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Definitely detonate that relationship. That's not healthy. You should be able to talk to somebody and not be their only outlet, because that's unhealthy. You know, you should be able to keep your job, be healthy, have friendship, coworkers, all of that as part of like a healthy, normal person and being happy in life. If you guys are watching this later, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here in the chat. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here. We have 10 minutes left in our second live, and we're going to have our link set up in the next live for you guys to make your anonymous submissions. Okay, our next one that we just got says, they blame all their toxic behavior on their trauma. Am I wrong for wanting accountability instead of excuses? Yes, absolutely. They need, you're not wrong for wanting them to have accountability. They need to take accountability. Everyone went through trauma shit, some people more than others, and it's definitely important that they are accountable for their actions. So if they're using that as an excuse, they need to go to therapy, or you need to break up with them, because that's just too much. You can't be their mom and their therapist too. Absolutely not. Okay, our next submission. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We got our little ghostie, and she's so cute. Okay, our next one says, they constantly accuse me of cheating with no reason. Is that just jealousy or their own guilt projecting? In my experience, every time somebody's always accused me or somebody of cheating, they were always the cheaters themselves. So I would definitely say they're projecting and check into that. Unless you're actually cheating, then that's not cool. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. We really appreciate it. Kylie says block, 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 block. Thank you, guys. Okay, we have our next anonymous question. It says, they intentionally withhold affection or grow cold until I apologize, even when I didn't do anything wrong. What does that say about them? That's called conditional love. You should not be withholding things like that. You know, that's exactly how people break up, and it leads to cheating. Not that it excuses that behavior, but that's definitely toxic, and withholding affection and things like that, that's not cool. So definitely, what do we say, my friends? Detonate. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here on our second live. We really appreciate all the views, likes, love, and support. We're so excited. We're hoping by next Tuesday our full filter will be all set up. Okay, we just got another submission. It says, they act different around friends, sweet and respectful, but behind closed doors, they're cold and dismissive. Is that a sign of two-faced behavior or manipulation? Absolutely. Actually, you know, they say that narcissists are really good at that. Narcissists are really good at putting on a fake filter for people in person, around your friends, around your parents, around everybody. And then at home, behind closed doors, you know, they're very controlling, they're cold, they're not affectionate. That's definitely type of behavior of the narcissist, so be careful. Thank you for that submission, though. We really appreciate it. We just got another one. It says, they ignore me or sleep in the other room when I don't give in to their demands. Is that normal space or controlling behavior? It could be a little bit of both, if you want me to be honest. It says if they sleep in another room, maybe they just want space because they know that they need to control their behavior, so they're trying to calm down or go somewhere else. But it also may be a tad controlling, so I'll definitely keep an eye on that and don't let it, blow up or get any further. Okay, our next, it says they'll only be kind or romantic when they want something. I feel like I'm being emotionally bribed. Absolutely. I would definitely say you're being emotionally bribed if that's how they feel. 100%. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is Toxic Tuesday. We're going over all the tea. Kai says block, 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 block. We're so excited for you guys to be here. Thank you guys so much. We're going to go over our next anonymous question. Hopefully we'll have all of this finally set up for you guys next Tuesday to submit it in. You have all week to submit all your questions. It says, they sabotage important moments, starting fights right before big events or opportunities. Why do they always make it about them? That is typical behavior of a narcissist. So you actually may be dating a narcissist. So please be careful with that, for sure. Definitely may be dating a narcissist. One day they're talking about marriage, and the next they say, I'm too much. Why do they keep moving the goalposts? I think that they're indecisive, and also that's a behavior of a narcissist. They're wishy-washy and they're constantly, changing their mind and trying to manipulate your feelings. So I would definitely be really careful with that. Thank you for that submission, by the way. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Toxic Tuesday. We really appreciate all the love. This one's really good. They sent this in. It says, they don't believe in compromise. It's their way, or it turns into a fight. How do I know if this is just stubbornness or actual emotional abuse? It's both. It's both. Being in a relationship is compromise, and that's both. So I would not recommend that at all. That's not cool. And you definitely need to have a conversation with your partner because that's not cool. Thank you guys so much for the submissions. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. It's Toxic Tuesday. We're so excited for next Tuesday. We have some really great things for you guys planned. Hopefully our background filter will be finished and our cool voice mod will be finalized. We're so excited for you guys. But in the meantime, we have a few more submissions. This one, I can't believe we just got this. It says they've punched walls, thrown things, or even broken objects during fights. But they've never hit me. But I'm scared. Am I in danger? What do we say in the chat, people? Yes, you're in danger. Nobody becomes abusive right away. It starts in small steps. First, they start controlling you. Then they start, throwing and smashing things. And then the next time you know it, they're going to be choking you or slapping you. So absolutely not. Please detonate that relationship. Let's get some bombs on the screen. Absolutely not. That is not cool. You are not safe, my friend. Please leave that relationship immediately. If somebody can't control their own self and they're throwing things and breaking things, then you need to leave that relationship. Please detonate. That is not safe. Okay, we have time for a few more questions. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Toxic Tuesday. We're so happy you guys are here. Okay, if you have any advice for these people that are sending in their anonymous questions, please type in the chat. Otherwise, next question. They've shown up at my job, my school, and even followed me to check on me. I feel washed. Am I being stalked? Yes, that is absolutely a trait of a narcissist. And also of evil people, which we have a video coming out soon about that. So that's absolutely not okay, not cool, and I would definitely detonate and block them. That's not safe at all. If you recognize any of these signs, these aren't just red flags. These are danger signs of abuse. You don't need permission to leave. You don't need more proof. If you're feeling confused, scared, or trapped, that's reason enough. And we're here for you, If you guys need anything, please send a message to our YouTube. We want to help you create a safety plan, create an exit strategy. We can help you find resources. If you need somebody to talk to as a safe space, please let us know. We want to be here for you guys and be that for you guys. Just say the word. You're not alone. We love you guys so much. We're so excited to be able to create a safe space and a safe community for you guys to be here to vent. We really do care, and we're so thankful to have this opportunity to be here for you guys. We're really excited for next Tuesday. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of things fixed better for our next live. If you're watching this later, thank you so much for all the love and support. We're going to read one last question that we just got in. It says, they rarely apologize, and if they do, it's always followed by an excuse. How do I know if they're actually taking responsibility? Taking responsibility means that they're apologizing. So if the first step is of not apologizing, then they're definitely not taking accountability. So I would definitely detonate. For sure. I'm sorry that you're going through that. We really appreciate all the anonymous admissions, you guys. This was fantastic. We're so happy to be here. Thank you guys so much for joining our live. Our little ghostie will be finalized next week. We're so excited to show you guys. It's going to be great. And we're going to have the link up on our channel for the anonymous admissions. So that way you guys can be sending them through the week so we can go through them on Tuesday, next Tuesday, same time. We're so excited about it. And we're just really thankful to have an audience of you guys to be here. And we're so thankful. So thank you guys so much for everything. If there's anything else in the chat, you guys have any more questions, we'd love to answer them. We have about 2 minutes left. We want to be here for you guys every week. And we're working really hard behind the scenes on our animation videos. Those are a lot of work. If you guys know anything about graphic design or animation, it's a lot of work. Oh, yay. Kelly says she'll be here next Tuesday. Yes, sir. That's really exciting. Hopefully we'll have our voice all fixed up and everything else. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Really appreciate it. We are going to have some more topics to go on next Tuesday. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe so you don't miss our new videos coming out and you don't miss our next live. It's going to be great. Our next live is going to be a million times better, I promise you. We're learning as we go, and this was a really fun process. But our backdrop did come out really cute. Sorry again for the audio issues in the beginning. We're still figuring this out. But we're so happy to be here for you and to create a safe space for you guys. So thank you guys so much for joining. We're going to have the link live for our next live on Tuesday. So you guys can submit your anonymous questions in and we can go over them. That way, if you're shy or nervous and you don't want to use it from your personal account, you could submit it through the website. So we're going to have that on our channel for the next live set up for you guys. Otherwise, you guys, we love you guys so much. Thank you so much.
If you have to question it, it's not real love.
If you have to question it, it's not real love. That's true. Thank you guys. Love you. Have a great night. Bye.